Good day, everyone. My name is Siksha Singhal. I am a PhD student at IIT Bombay, India. The title of my today's talk is Coalition Formation, Resource Sharing Games and Networks. This is a joint work with my supervisor, Professor Veera Arna Kavitha. So this will be the outline for today's talk. Many times we come across scenarios where there are limited resources and a number of people are competing to obtain the share of these resources. For example, telecom companies competing to obtain spectrum. In such scenarios, it is possible that players might find it beneficial to collaborate, as exhibited by this Canada's wireless spectrum auction in 2008, where because of competition, players had to pay a much higher cost than expected. However, the players are still selfish and they'll collaborate only if it is beneficial for them. But still, it is not clear how that we cannot rule out the possibility of a player who is not interested in cooperation, and we refer to this player as an adamant player. Now we'll consider an example where we consider a wireless network with N agents that are competing to buy a spectrum. So here the bid of each player looks like this, where lambda is the influence factor and AR is his actions. So when players bid this amount, then the spectrum share allotted to them is given like this, and the cost allotted to each player is this. We can see that the negative cost of each player is inversely proportional to its influence factor, and so the utility of any player I looks like this. As mentioned earlier, it is possible that people may want to bid together, and in that case, the spectrum and the cost has to be divided amicably among the members of the coalition. So we study in this work, is this cooperation beneficial? If yes, then when and which type of players will form coalitions? So we considered a non-cooperative resource sharing game with n+1 players, where capital N denotes the set of these players. 0 is the adamant player who is not interested in cooperation, and the utility of each player looks like this. So when players look out for collaboration opportunities, a partition is formed, which is nothing but an exhaustive and disjoint set of coalitions. So all the players in a coalition in the partition choose their actions together, and so the utility of a coalition is just the sum of the individual utilities of the players. Hence, in this work, our aim is to study the partition that is stable. The various notions of stability that we considered in this work will be discussed in further slides. Next, we will describe the ingredients of our coalition formation game. So first is the set of players, which is denoted by capital NC and includes all those players who are interested in forming coalitions. Next is the strategy of a player, say player I, which includes all those players with which player I wants to form coalitions, and hence Xi is a subset of NC. Also, the strategy of any player should include the player itself, and thus the strategy set of any player I includes all those strategies which satisfies both these conditions. Next, our aim is to define the utility of each player for any given strategy profile. And in view of this, we first consider the rules under which a partition is formed when a strategy profile is given. So the first rule is that every player in the coalition should lie in each other's strategies. The second rule states that there should exist no other partition P dash which contains a coalition which is a superset of two of the coalitions in P. So it can be observed that a strategy profile can lead to multiple partitions in our case, and one of the examples is given here. So at this point, we'll first consider the case when a strategy profile leads to a unique partition. And so our game is reduced to a game where coalitions act as players. And so our next result gives us the utilities of the coalitions at the Nash equilibrium of this resource sharing game. So this result says that we can have multiple Nash equilibrium, but the utilities at all these Nash equilibriums are unique, and only the top coalitions derive non-zero utility. Further, the top players in these top coalitions are the ones obtaining non-zero utilities, which are given by this equation. After obtaining this coalitional worth, our next aim is to divide this worth among its members. For this purpose, we used an extension of Shapley value. So here we consider each coalition as grand coalition, and so to estimate the Shapley value, we need to calculate all the words of all these sub-coalitions of coalition SI, which we define as the pessimal or the worst utility at the Nash equilibrium of the resource sharing unit. For this, we assume that our environment is fixed and the players in Si minus C choose to hurt the C the most. For symmetric players, this extension simply reduces to equal players. Next, we characterize the partition at which the pessimal utility of any subcoalition is obtained. So in this partition, the players in Si minus C are arranged as singletons. At this point, we have defined the utility of every player for a given strategy profile when it leads to a unique partition. For the case when a strategy profile leads to multiple partitions, we say that the utility of a player I is the minimum utility among all possible partitions. Thus, we have a strategic form game, and our aim is to study the Nash equilibrium and the partitions emerging at Nash equilibrium. And now we'll define the stability concepts used in this paper. Usually in the game theoretic frameworks, we are interested in the strategy profiles that emerge at equilibrium, and the most well-known solution concept is the Nash equilibrium. So it is nothing but a strategy profile where no player can unilaterally deviate and obtain higher utilities. So in line with this, we have another solution concept called any partitions, which are the partitions that emerge from a Nash equilibrium strategy profile. But as already mentioned, a strategy profile can lead to multiple partitions, and this definition in its own has an inherent instability in it. So we define something called natural strategy profile, where strategy of each player includes only those players with which it forms correlation in the partition, and such a strategy profile uniquely leads to P. Further, if this strategy profile is a Nash equilibrium, then the partition emerging from this is said to be a U-stable partition. From the definition of the U-stable partition and the restriction on the strategy profile used, we have that all U-stable partitions are Nash partitions, but the vice versa may not be true. The last solution concept is that of social optimum partitions. Here, any partition that is obtained from a strategy profile that maximizes the sum utility of all players in NC is referred to as social optimum partitions. So now we'll consider the results with symmetric players. We obtained SO partitions and found that usually the smaller size correlations are the SO partitions. Adamant player always derives positive utility when in grand correlation, but it is not true for other partitions. In contrast to the results of the SO partitions, for Nash partitions, we have that when the number of players is more than 4, all alone is the unique Nash partition. For the case when number of players are smaller than 4, we can have multiple Nash partitions and the results can be found in paper. So as we have already seen that there is a considerable difference between the Nash partitions and the social optimum partitions. So we use price of anarchy to estimate this loss, and this price of anarchy is defined as the ratio of some utilities at social optima and some utilities at worst Nash equilibrium. So this figure summarizes the results for the case of symmetric players when their number is more than 4. From the first row, we can see that as the number of players increases, the price of anarchy also increases. Surprisingly, when the strength of adamant player, basically the relative strength represented by eta, this decreases to 0 or increases to infinity. In both cases, price of anarchy increases to n. So with this, we'll sum up with the symmetric player case and move on to the case where we have single asymmetric player whose influence factor is larger than the influence factors of the other symmetric players. Here we showed that with the introduction of a little asymmetry in the influence factors, we have more stable partitions, and the stable partitions are of the form where asymmetric players correlation can have any number of players, but the correlations with only identical players have all players as singletons. Next, we consider the case when the players are highly asymmetric. So we have some definitions here first. We say that a system is an absolutely stable condition when the partitions are U-stable. We define certain measures of asymmetry here, which depends on the influence factors of the players. And this measure of asymmetry ensures that there is a minimum amount of asymmetry between all the players. So under some conditions that when player 1 is significantly influential than others and this measure of asymmetry takes value more than 1, we have that the system is absolutely stable. Now we'll move on to the case where players are moderately asymmetric. Here we showed that when a weaker player K is able to form coalitions with a stronger player J, then the same weaker player is also able to form coalitions with all these strong players. Similarly, this strong player can also form coalitions with all these weaker players. So now we'll move on to the numerical sections of our work. We present an algorithm in this paper which we use to obtain these results. So here we began with an almost or exactly symmetric pairs with influence factors 20, and alpha j is the uniform random variable between 0 and 1, and delta with delta we change the asymmetry between the pairs. So as the delta is increased, the asymmetry increases, and we observe that the number of view stable partitions also increases. In a next similar study, we observe the stable partitions that are formed as we increase the asymmetry between the pairs. So first we need to know how to read this table. So any row that appears at the top of the table has the partition which is stable for all the bottom rows as well. So if you say that in the first row ALC, all pairs alone is the stable partition. So for all these cases as well, this is a stable partition. So now moving to our observations, here we showed that when the pairs are almost symmetric, they like to remain alone. And as the asymmetry is increased, the first players who try to form coalitions are the strongest and the weakest players. Another interesting observation is, as already mentioned, that when a strong player 2 is able to form coalition with a weaker player 5, then an even stronger player than player 2, that is player 1, is also able to form coalition with the same weaker player. So now we have an example related to our application point of view. So for players, spectral share as well as utility, both are equally important. And here in this figure, we plotted only the partitions that are stable. We observed that at grand correlation, we obtain the highest utility, but the maximum spectral share is obtained at configuration 2, where dissimilar pairs are together. We can also observe that in configuration 2 and 3, where the only difference is between that in one of the partitions, we have that dissimilar players are together, while in other the similar players are together. So we observed that the player prefers the partition where dissimilar players are together. Thus, to conclude, we observed that when the players are identical, they do not want to cooperate if their number is more than 4, and so there is a high price of anarchy. We also identified the conditions for absolute stability for the case of asymmetric players and observed that as the asymmetry is increased, the number of stable partitions increases as well. The highest and the lowest capacity players are the first ones to collaborate. We also have a brief initial study about the coalitional stability in the paper. So we found that under the conditions of absolute stability, grand coalition is the only stable partition. But for the case of symmetric players, no partition is coalitionally stable. So these are the slides, references that I used in my slides. Thank you.